Here is a brutal truth a lot of you will not realize until it's too late, but it's about how much your life will actually change once you lose the fat. More specifically, I lost 10 kg plus for a fitness photo shoot, which was ridiculous, by the way, and probably wouldn't do it again. Maybe I would. We'll see how it goes, but you can probably tell this whole video is going to be completely unscripted just because I feel like it brings out the best in what I have to say, and also it kind of wraps on my real knowledge. You know, I'm not reading off of script. You know, I'm not using ChatGPT. I'm just using my own full on knowledge. And if you want to see my script, again, this is all I have. Like I said, this is going to be about how your life changes once you actually lose the weight. And this is not just about weight on your body, but also when you lose the weight from your face. Because I've got a beard right now, so you can't tell. But of course, losing the skinny fat build isn't just losing the body fat here, but it's also about building the muscle, building the strong arms like everybody wants to, because you could have tiny arms, but your belly sticks out like this. Like, I know exactly what it's like because I've been there. I was 88 kg, then I was skinny fat about 65 kg, then I was 75 kg at my leanest, and then it's just been bouncing up and down. But this video will convince you of why it's super important to lose weight now and why you should start to take action. Of course, you've seen hundreds and hundreds of videos like this before. However, I know you're going to fall off probably in the next day or two. So what I'm going to do is, if you click the first link in the description, you can get 50 days of 50 ways of how to lose fat, the skinny fat physique, and I'll email you once a day to make sure you stay on track. And that'll be your own little accountability buddy. Takes literally under 60 seconds to read and you'll get everything you need to know. But let's dive in. So the thing is, when you are overweight, you don't realize exactly what you are deprived of. So when I was 88 kg, there was no ideal state for me. I was just living. I was living the way I wanted to live. And when you feel that, you don't feel bad. Like when you're overweight, you might not like how you look in the mirror, but you don't realize how badly it is compared to once you actually lose the weight. So when I lost about 10 kg, you realize that you just lack energy. Any sort of thing that you do, when you get up in the morning, you have no drive, you just feel soft, you don't really have the motivation to do anything. I was 88 kg and I was still hitting the gym, but I would literally be 3 minutes away from my gym. I would get up, walk to the gym, hit a workout, and then stay in my house for the rest of the day and play video games. And I just felt terrible because I genuinely looked in the mirror some days and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Because of how heavy I was building muscle, but I was taking the bulk too far, literally. And the thing is, with your current situation, you don't feel deprived of where you want to be because you don't realize how much better you will feel once you start optimizing your life in terms of optimizing hormones like testosterone. You start taking the right measures to fix your diet, or just start eating a little bit cleaner, or eating less food, or eating lower volumes of food, and just being able to have that balance. Because once you do that, your entire life starts to change and your mindset starts to change as well as like what you can actually achieve in the next year, 2 years, 3 years from now. But I don't even think that's the main thing, because when you're overweight, you think about the transformation all the time. You think about how you're going to get from where you are now to where you want to be. And I can tell you right now, the transformation is the hardest part, because once you actually get to this point where I am at, I'm not trying to brag, but once you get to a point of relatively good shape, you realize it's a lot easier to maintain than actually getting to the point, because to reverse 20, 30 years of bad habits, it's going to take a massive kick up the bum. I'm going to try to stay monetized. I'm trying to say monetized, but like, I don't have any ads. Like, even if I could run ads, I probably wouldn't, because that's not the whole purpose of my YouTube channel. But yeah, you have to be in a deficit for so long under your calories, and by being in a deficit, your life is going to significantly suck at times. You're going to feel a little bit hungry, but that is the price you have to pay to get back to where you want to be, or to completely make lifestyle habit changes. Because the thing is once you lose the weight, you can go back up to maintenance, and all of a sudden you have the energy to do things again. But during that weight loss period, life is probably going to suck a little bit. And that's the reason why so many people don't stick to it, is because life starts to suck a little bit, and then a little bit, then a little bit, then it's like, okay, I hate this. Let me just go back to what I was doing, because it's not worth it. They don't see the value. And that's what I'm here to give you today, is how much of your life would change, or what would be the first thing you would do if you actually made the transformation you were looking to do. Like, let's say you were 10 kg lighter in the next 12 weeks or the next 3 to 6 months. What would you do? How would you show up differently? And why would that be important to you? Because if it's not, then we can just move on. Like, we don't, you could get all the help you need, but if you don't actually want the goal like you say you do, there's not really much point trying, because you could be convinced all you want, but that's just nothing. Like, no amount of convincing is going to help you stay motivated on your darkest times. Realistically, it's you that has got to make the decision. You can get all the help you need, but all the knowledge, you can watch all the videos, but you have to be the one to be like, I've had enough. And that's the key. You have to be so painful your current situation to want to make the transformation. That's currently what I'm doing when I'm cutting, because as you can see, there's a little bit of rolls. So I'm in pain, so I want to cut down and lean out a little bit, because too many hate comments have been coming in. So being called fat as an online coach. So we'll have to fix that up. But the feelings once you actually achieve your goal is a completely different story. I think, like I said, once you reach to your original goal, if you haven't moved the goalpost by then, you will move the goalpost as well, because the whole point of the fitness game is that you don't quit, is that you cannot lose the game if you don't quit. And I think that's the game of life anyway, because nobody is here forever. In 100 years' time, no one's going to even know your name. They're not going to remember you. So what are you waiting for? Why are you not trying to be the best person you can possibly be? Or why are you not trying to optimize your life for the short amount of time you have left? Especially if you're not optimizing your life right now, you're going to have even shorter amount of time later on in life, because you're going to feel a lot worse in terms of diet, in terms of muscle, in terms of just overall life. Like, you will start to feel the negatives of old age a lot faster if you obviously don't start to take care of your health right now. And that's what I'm here to help you with. But the overall reaching of the goal is going to fill you with joy for a tad moment, because then you are going to start to create other goals. You are going to start to look with a microscope to start to see your progress, because in your first year or two, you're going to make tons of progress. I'm going to say it right now. If you stick to it for a year or two, you've got to stick long enough to actually see the results, because if you don't, then that's why so many people quit, is because the biggest motivator is seeing the results. So if you can just stick long enough until you see the results, I'll be honest, the gym is terrible for the first the first week or two, because you're not seeing results. You're doing actions that future you will get. You will be rewarded for future you, but you don't see that yet. You don't see the value. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is by doing something that the future you will earn, then you start to ask yourself, like, what's stopping me from eating terrible food to sabotage my future self? But then I have this thing on my phone background. I was going to try to show you, but I'm recording my phone. It's, what would future you or tomorrow's version of you would want you to do today? And I'll let you sit with that one for a little second while I take a drink. The main thing is you need to be uncomfortable enough with your starting point to actually take action and continue it. You need to be in either so much pain where you currently are or so much deprivation of where you want to be. So hanging around with a bunch of other fitness guys who are in shape and you're not in shape, you are deprived of being in shape because they talk about how good being in shape is. Or you could just be really, really overweight and your doctor says that you're going to pass away next month. Like, if it was life or death, you had to lose 5 kg in 30 days. Your doctor said you had to do it because it was important, you would do it. You would make something. You would make it your number one priority. Everything else wouldn't matter because it's your life on the line. But since there's nothing on the line, you were just cruising through life. This is why you're not uncomfortable enough to get the result. And that's why the discipline comes in. Overall, I hope this was a little bit more clear of how your life will actually change and how to take action and continue it. A little bit more action in there, because being uncomfortable is the number one route to getting the progress you want. And sometimes it just might take a little bit of a kick each day to help you get the reminder, to help you stay accountable, to help you gain the knowledge, a little bit of nuggets each day. And that's exactly why I created the 50 days and 50 ways. So I keep getting around 50 ways in 50 days to lose a skinny fat physique. Email you once a day, constantly send you reminders. So if you want that, link in the description. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.